to turn them around. As a flat earther, John Brahma thinks it's time that the truth is revealed. So he is planning a covert mission to the edge in the Antarctic to gather data, gather proof, come back and reveal it to the world in a great unveiling. So what he wanted to do was book 10 other flat earthers who would pony up $100,000 each for these seats, and they would go make this trek down there. And that's about the time that we got into contact with John. He was looking for, I think, a little bit of exposure to help raise these funds. Naturally, we weren't too excited to just jump on this story and tell people to donate their hard-earned money to John Brahma, because, well, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So we just started talking to him, trying to gather as much information about him and his story and his plans as we could, and then cross-reference it and see exactly how much of it was BS and how much of it could actually be true. So that's what we've been doing this whole time, trying to communicate with him. He's not an easy guy to connect with, and even when we do, it doesn't always work out so well because he's so guarded in the words that he uses. But we had a great conversation last night. He gave us a brief little update because he updated it on his WordPress blog site, and that is journeytoedge.wordpress.com. And we wanted to talk to him and hear from his mouth exactly how this expedition was going. So ideally, I would have had this audio edited all together beautifully so I could just click play, sit back, and let you guys listen, but that's not how I roll. So we'll start out with his update. Because everybody here, we all got a chance to talk to him, which was pretty unusual. I think it was Rob's first time. So
yeah, I come in just at the end there, and I have got one question to ask when you finish your little update here. It's without notice, it'll be to Adam, but yeah, keep going.
Right on. Well, it's still not a whole lot of an update as far as his expedition goes. Last we had heard was that he had been fully funded, but now he has lost communications with his major backer. So that funding fell through. He does have $300K locked down. The funds have been transferred. 3 people have bought their tickets. 3 seats have been filled. So as it stands now, John Brahma is saying this expedition is, say, 80% go. If he can get the rest of it funded, he'll call it 100% go, and they plan on being out in Antarctica in September, just a couple months away. He's talking about a 2-week trip, so by the end of the year, theoretically, we could have a whole different reality than we do right now, based purely on John Brahma and the things that he's trying to do. I don't know, what did you guys think about what John had to say?
Well, I've got one question, and it's Adam. Adam might be able to best to answer this. I asked whether there was a 24-hour sun, and it got brushed over, I guess, yesterday when I asked him because I come in late. And anyway, Adam said, yes, there is a 24-hour sun. I'd like to know how. How on our flat Earth there is a 24-hour sun. Is that did I take that right, Adam?
Yeah, he didn't brush over it. You joined it late, and I think sporadically I gathered a lot of information from him, or had other information confirmed. So the first and most important point, I think, to understand is that as I got a confirmation from John on, is the difference between sunlight and daylight. And there's a video come out this week kind of explaining it and demonstrating that the blueness in the sky is a luminescence of the noble gases that make up the atmosphere. And that's why the sky is so blue when it's daytime, because the daytime is the excitation of the noble gases in the atmosphere. So that's kind of, you've got to, I think, accept that premise before you can move on to some of the other.
But I can see the sun. A 24-hour sun is, you can see the sun, what is producing the light, or what we believe is producing the light for 24 hours. You can follow it around you, just like you can do in the Arctic.
You've seen that, Rob?
No, I haven't. No, obviously I haven't.
One of the big arguments against flat Earth and the way the sun rotates is its impracticality of creating the time zones that it does through the spotlight effect of the sun. And I think that's what I'm alluding to. Think of the spotlight. That's when the sun's pointing in a particular direction, but actually you see the atmosphere glowing blue a lot wider than you would expect. The spot effect of what is, we assume, is a closer sun. Does that make sense? That it's not just reflective light that's making the sky blue. It's like a neon tube. Yeah. So when you see neon signs, it's that effect.
And I still don't think the sun is an object like we understand it. A focal point of energy, an area that's focused of energy, that's transforming energy from a different realm, call it ether, whatever pronunciation you want to go with. But yeah, I've seen the sun do some amazing things. I've seen it.
But if you believe the sun,
I've seen three spots of light.
It's the thing that's moving around us. On the flat Earth model, we know that the flat Earth model might be a little bit different here and there, but if the sun is moving around it, for me, it cannot have a 24-hour sun. It cannot.
No,
it cannot. It's
a physical sun. No,
it cannot.
But there is.
I've seen no evidence of that. The only videos that purport to show a 24-hour sun never show that. They show a.
That's right. That's exactly right.
The horizon line. That's right. You see the sun go across the camera shot, and then you see light, shadows, and things shifting behind the camera. Exactly right.
Yeah, I don't believe there is. I believe if I went down there, I would not see a 24-hour sun. John is the one that's claiming there is a 24-hour sun, not us. Well, not me.
Keep in mind, though, that there are other suns.
Said some other things. Thank you, James. Yep. Wow. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Yeah. So what we may think is a 24-hour sun could actually be a reflection of another sun on the other side, as well of what Walt was just alluding to with the closeness of the sun. You know?
No, he said it wasn't
non-circular path.
He precluded
elliptical.
it from James. Yeah, he precluded it from the outer suns, and he said the effect was twofold. There's the electro and agitation effect, and that's magnified when the sun's at its southernmost orbit off of the dome, and also he said that when you're seeing these other suns to the extremities of vision, if you think of the sun dead ahead at midday, so dead left and right of your extremities, what you're seeing there is refraction off of the dome as an image. And he says, and that's why you'll see sometimes in these images 2, 3 suns. It's not a second and third sun. There's only one in this realm. There are others outside of it, he said, but what you're seeing there is reflections caused from the proximity to the dome.
We've all seen the Arctic sun going round. For the ball to be true, we need to see that, don't we? We need to see that.
Didn't Jaron do a video
in the Antarctic?
Rob,
and we don't have it. We don't. Yeah, he did. And it always cuts out. It always cuts out.
Exactly.
No, I just want to bring that up because if John's saying that there is, for me, you can't even have you can't even have a light. It can't even be light down there. It'd be in complete darkness for a fair bit. Even in summer, there'd be a complete darkness for a fair bit of the day for me. So
yeah, can I just say that I'm not claiming this. This is John Brahma, not Savage. I'm not claiming 24-hour sun in Antarctica. I've never been there. So just to get the record straight.
Again, I would I clarified the point with John. I think it's not 24-hour sun, but there is a point of 24-hour daylight. Was what he. And
I can see 24 hours a day. Like I can see that being replicated with a lighter under a salad bowl,
and he
and I can see how that happens.
And I cannot imagine that
that's a
if
great
there's
example,
another
John.
sun, if there's another sun outside that he's kind of confirmed, and this barrier, this border, whatever electromagnetic, unless it's some type of Faraday cage, there's no way that electromagnetic sun on that side doesn't interact with that area, that edge, and create some kind of similar effect in its atmosphere that would then create light that would also be interacting in some way in those areas.
But he did say it
James
was.
can't cover that whole part.
Well, he said it was like a Faraday cage, right? It was designed sort of
I must have
specifically.
missed that. I was late to the conversation, so
Well-
I apologize. I missed that.
Remember about how our tech has a hard time getting through? How it's sort of designed, this energetic field is
Man,
designed to
a
keep our
force
tech.
field is not a Faraday cage necessarily.
Well, if it's made out of, sort of energetic waves, that's sort of getting there along those same lines.
That's what I think more of the dome. That's why when people say dome, I'm thinking more layered energy levels is more my.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They would have to be interacting in some way, just like it does on our side with their side.
As above, so below.
So this is
Again,
actually.
these are all just hypotheses and
For me to believe the
speculative
bull,
thinking.
for me to believe the bull, I need to see a 24-hour sun, and that is exactly the same as what you see in the Arctic. I need to see that, not just the light and its bit of daylight.
Thank
'Cause
you.
that
I need to
wouldn't
see
work.
that,
That's
that
what it's gotta
camera
be.
pan around
It's
and
gotta
follow
be,
that light in the
the
sky.
camera pan
Yep.
around, following
360. Let's get
the-
Z proxy
following the
down
sun
there.
360.
We need to see that in space,
Stan.
too, but we'll never see it. We'll never see a 360 pan in space
no.
because you'll see
Well,
the pool
if
ladder.
John, if John's fair dinkum, and one of us go down there, then that's what I want to see.
I
And if I
definitely
see
want
that,
pictures of
yeah.
satellites with balloons and parachutes because they're balloon satellites.
So I put the picture that John sent us on the screen so people can see the picture that John says is of the edge. And naturally, we weren't too keen to just believe John and his picture of the edge, no more than we want to believe NASA and their pictures of the spinny ball Earth. So we did some digging, and our friend Karen, Can22, actually found the source of this picture that John sent us. James, you did a little bit of research on the artist. Do you want to tell people about the artist that took this picture? James,
Sorry, I was muted.
that's all right.
My brief and I give a big disclaimer here. Okay, this is my profiling, although usually accurate, comes with a big disclaimer. It could be way off. However, based on that, she is a very interesting person with some very rich relatives and friends and connections for the typical, so to speak, starving artist. Let's just say New York, super rich, old families, ancient traditions, old money, old art, old desires. I'll just leave it at that.
So what you found was a connection to some of the bigger names, say the bigger family names that people in the conspiracy world would know. So when we asked John about this picture, because we found all this stuff as an artist, and this picture is, it was put out there as art, and there's all these kind of strange things that didn't necessarily jive too much. Well, what he said was that it was a woman that spent a whole bunch of money to get there to take this picture, which wasn't the story that we were seeing on the website from the girl that actually took the picture. So there were some discrepancies there. So when we talked to John, he sort of set us straight in our way of thinking. Yes.
I think it confirmed what we were saying as well, Josh, is we looked at the narrative that comes with the pictures and the fanciful tale of sledging down slopes in Antarctica, and then, and most importantly to me, where I smelt a bit of a rat in the website that, reveals the picture was the description of the strangeness of the ice that we see, and that it was claimed that the cause was plastic bottles that had been polluting Antarctica that had frozen into the ice. And after she'd cleared as many as she could, they went back on their way, which is just...
I read it was it was something plastic piping insulation for the wires or something that had been dropped in there and shattered into 100 pieces, and then they suddenly take expeditions down there to clear up this enormous amount of shattered plastic. Or it seemed like an agenda, climate change, environmental over extreme agenda. To me anyway.
I'll just say one more thing and then I'll let go on it. But if anybody wants a little thread to tug on, some of the similar people and artists, if you were to search another artist in that circle, I would start looking at somebody by the name of Damien Hirst.
How did I know you were going to say that?
I don't know, John. You are my friend. And if you want to go a little further, maybe look into Druids, ancient Druids. But that's about it.
That's pretty interesting.
There's definitely a history here, or a thread, like you say, a thread to pull on that you could trace back.
So that's kind of where we stand with John Brahma. John has $300,000 and 3 seats filled for his expedition to Antarctica. If you would like to go to Antarctica, we can put you in touch with John Brahma. Only going to cost you 100 G's. I mean,
John, just give him the 100 grand so he can go down there, all right?
You're talking to me.
Rob,
Yes.
I thought you were...
That's pocket change for Savage. That's Savage pocket change.
And that blog, how much is that blog earning you a week these days, eh? Well, yeah.
Wordsmith.
Meisterwork.
that would be the savageplane.wordpress.com blog, that blog.
Yes, that's at least 50 grand a week you're earning off that, isn't it?
That would be the free savageplane.wordpress.blogspot something.
Something in another.
Are you talking about the savageplane.wordpress.com site?
Oh, thank you, James.
I believe he does. Speaking
For the record, Flat Earth makes me no money. I'm not a member of any society, secret cult, any sort of agenda. I have no ties to anyone, as a lot of people know. And so stuff your comment, Rob.
On that note, I reckon we have a break and have a coffee. What do you reckon?
Nope,
On
you're
that
with
note,
Holden outside.
Being the gravity of the situation, I think that's a great idea.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Nice segue.
Nice segue.
Lovely segue. You should be a DJ, my friend.
I'd be a co-host. Okay.
A hosty host. Talky talk.
All right, so with that, we're going to take a little break. We'll be back in like 4 or 5 minutes. Just sit tight. We're going to play a little Gravity. I know everybody's favorite Cheyenne song, favorite Flat Earth Iron Row Media song is Gravity. So due to popular demand, just to get everybody off my back, I'm going to it again this week. So thanks for everybody sticking around.